Remember the scent of new vinyl on a bench seat? The satisfying click of a manual window crank? Or the pop-up headlights illuminating a dark highway? American cars have seen countless features come and go. Some became standard for their sheer utility, while many others vanished due to inconvenience, safety concerns, or shifting tastes. Today, let's journey back to the golden age of American automobiles to uncover innovations once hailed as technological marvels, yet ultimately couldn't withstand the sands of time. Bench seats. Cars from the 1950s to the 1980s often featured expansive front bench seats stretching wide across the entire cabin. They were once a symbol of spaciousness, comfort, and even romance in classic films. Designed to maximize seating, they allowed 3 people to sit abreast, creating a roomy, intimate cabin space for family road trips or loving couples. What could be more romantic than having your crush gently slide closer to you on that plush bench seat with no barrier between you? Later, as safety standards increasingly gained importance, bench seats gradually revealed their drawbacks. They lacked the necessary individual support and protection, with no separate seatbelts or headrests, making occupants prone to shifting during sudden braking or collisions. Furthermore, the advent of automatic transmissions made column shifters less essential, diminishing the need for an open front space. The bench seat, despite a lifespan spanning over half a century, was eventually replaced by bucket seats, which offered superior comfort, safety, and the ability to integrate airbags and adjustable seatbelts. The center console also emerged, providing convenience with cup holders and versatile storage compartments. Vent windows. Vent windows, also known as wing windows, were small triangular panes located at the front corner of car doors, an innovation that appeared in the 1930s and became extremely popular in the 1950s and 1960s. Before air conditioning became a common and affordable feature, these tiny windows played a crucial role in air circulation, bringing cool breezes into the cabin, and were especially useful for smokers. You could push them out to create negative air pressure, drawing smoke out, or pull them in to force air inwards, creating positive pressure, a practical function that modern air conditioning sometimes couldn't match. Unfortunately, vent windows tended to leak in the rain and were also easy for thieves to break into, becoming a security vulnerability and incompatible with the trend towards more aerodynamic, streamlined car designs. By the 1980s, with the widespread adoption of air conditioning and the demand for modern designs, vent windows gradually disappeared from car models, leaving many with a nostalgic longing for a simple yet incredibly effective solution from the past. Column shifters. If you've ever been in an American car from the 40s or 50s, you'd be familiar with the shifter neatly positioned on the steering column, rather than between the front seats. Column-mounted shifters first appeared in the 1930s and became extremely popular on large American family cars and trucks in the 1940s and 1950s. The main purpose of placing the shifter there was to free up front seat space, creating a more spacious cabin, enough room for an extra passenger, or simply more leg room. It was a highly practical design, especially suited for large families or those who frequently transported extra friends. However, despite their spatial advantage, column-mounted shifters often lacked the precision of floor-mounted shifters. Gear selection could sometimes feel vague, and their linkage mechanisms were prone to wear over time, leading to durability and performance issues. From the 1960s onwards, floor shifters rose as the superior choice, offering better control and a sportier, more powerful driving feel. While some modern vehicles, particularly trucks, still use a variation of the column shifter, they are no longer the widespread standard they once were, marking the end of a once highly favored design. Pop-up headlights. With their sleek, modern look and ability to hide flush with the car's body when not in use, Pop-up headlights were a unique and popular feature. They first appeared in the 1930s and reached their peak in the 1980s to 1990s on iconic sports cars like the Mazda MX-5 and Chevy Corvette. They significantly improved the car's aerodynamics, lending a sense of speed and futurism. Each time the lights were activated, they would slowly or rapidly rise from the car's body, creating an impressive display that captivated all eyes. However, the complexity of the pop-up mechanism led to numerous issues. Mechanical components were prone to failure, resulting in situations where only one light would work or they couldn't fully open or close, causing inconvenience and costly maintenance. When deployed, they created significant drag, negatively impacting the car's performance and fuel efficiency. More importantly, their rigid structure was deemed dangerous for pedestrians in accidents. Coupled with increasingly stringent safety regulations, pop-up headlights were gradually phased out in the early 2000s, making way for more reliable and safer fixed headlight designs. Ashtrays and cigarette lighters. From the early to mid-20th century, ashtrays and cigarette lighters were standard, almost mandatory features in every car. They were often cleverly integrated into the dashboard, doors, or center console. At that time, smoking was a common habit, and having a convenient ashtray with a push-button lighter in the car was completely normal. Shifting societal and scientific awareness brought an end to their era. The health risks of smoking became increasingly clear, and safety concerns like fire hazards from cigarette butts grew alarming, gradually diminishing the demand for ashtrays and cigarette lighters. Laws restricting smoking in cars also contributed significantly to their disappearance. Today, the ashtray spot has been replaced by more practical features like convenient cup holders or storage compartments. And the lighter socket? It found a new purpose, becoming a 12-volt power outlet for charging electronic devices, a truly unexpected rebirth. You've seen the ashtray in your own car, haven't you? Share your memories about it with us. Record players. In the 1950s, the idea of an in-car record player sounded like a futuristic dream, a luxury entertainment feature for the elite. Chrysler, in collaboration with RCA, introduced them, hoping to revolutionize the in-car music experience, allowing drivers and passengers to enjoy their favorite tunes on large vinyl records. But in reality, the idea didn't work out at all. The bumpy roads of those years caused the needle to skip constantly, disrupting the listening experience and causing frustration. Furthermore, these players were too bulky, occupying valuable space in the car. Vinyl records were also fragile and prone to warping under the cabin's heat. It wasn't long before they gave way to more reliable and compact music formats like 8-track tapes, followed by cassette tapes and CDs, marking the failure of an idea that was ahead of its time. Car phones. In the 1980s and early 1990s, if you owned a car phone, you were certainly a person of status and a trendsetter. These weren't the handheld mobile phones we know today, but fixed, hardwired phones installed in cars with a rather large main unit located in the trunk. First introduced by Bell System in 1946, they allowed users to make calls on the go. However, that convenience came with numerous limitations. Limited channels often led to constant busy signals, making connections difficult. Their initial installation costs and monthly service fees were extremely high, making them a luxury item few could afford. More importantly, using these fixed phones while driving was soon recognized as distracting and dangerous. The advent of compact and affordable handheld mobile phones quickly rendered car phones obsolete. Today, they have been completely replaced by personal smartphones and integrated in-car Bluetooth systems, allowing for much safer and more convenient hands-free communication. Landau Bars. In the 1920s and 1930s, you might have spotted cars adorned with curved metal accents that resembled the classic frame of horse-drawn carriages. These were Landau Bars, a decorative accessory designed to mimic the appearance of 18th century Landau carriages, originating from Landau, Germany. They were added to cars to evoke a sense of luxury, nostalgia, and served as a status symbol, creating the illusion that the car had a foldable soft top, though in reality, they were purely external embellishments. The appeal of Landau Bars waned as consumers realized they served no practical purpose. These details not only added weight and complexity to the vehicle, but also frequently rusted or broke, incurring significant maintenance costs. By the end of the 20th century, Landau Bars had almost completely vanished from mainstream models, remaining only as a rare flourish on restored classic cars. Automatic seatbelts. In the late 1980s, to encourage drivers and passengers to buckle up, a unique innovation emerged: automatic seatbelts. This system was designed to automatically move the seatbelt into position, wrapping around you and securing your upper body when you close the car door or turn the ignition key, eliminating the need for manual buckling. However, the reality fell short of expectations. Many automatic seatbelt systems only secured the occupant's upper body, neglecting the lap belt. This led to serious injuries and accidents when the lower body was not restrained. Furthermore, their automatic mechanisms frequently malfunctioned, leading to situations where the belt wouldn't retract or got stuck. They were also incompatible with many child safety seat designs, causing difficulties for families with young children. Later, with the development of airbag technology and significant improvements in conventional seatbelts, automatic seatbelts were gradually phased out, making way for safer solutions that became standard by the mid-1990s, marking a valuable lesson in balancing convenience with absolute safety. Push-button transmissions. In the mid-1950s, Chrysler made waves by introducing a daring innovation: the push-button transmission. Instead of a traditional gear lever, drivers simply pressed buttons on the dashboard to select gears, such as D for drive, R for reverse, or P for park. The aim of this design was to simplify gear shifting, create a modern feel, and free up interior space. However, the electrical systems of push-button transmissions frequently malfunctioned, with issues like blown fuses or electrical failures disrupting operation. For drivers accustomed to traditional shifters, getting used to these buttons also caused considerable confusion and misunderstanding. Push-button transmissions could not maintain their market presence and were quickly replaced by more reliable transmission systems, marking the failure of a groundbreaking yet underdeveloped idea. Carburetor engines? Do you remember that distinct sputtering sound a classic car made when starting? For most of the 20th century, the heart of most automobiles was the carburetor engine. The carburetor was a sophisticated mechanical device responsible for mixing air and fuel in precise proportions before feeding them into the engine's combustion chamber. It was once the standard and widely used method to ensure efficient combustion, keeping the car running smoothly. However, carburetors required frequent adjustments to maintain optimal performance. Changes in altitude, ambient temperature, or engine wear could all affect its efficiency, demanding constant tuning by the user. This complexity in maintenance and adjustment gradually made them less competitive compared to new technologies. From the late 1980s and early 1990s, electronic fuel injection, EFI, emerged as a superior alternative. EFI offered far more precise fuel delivery, significantly improving fuel efficiency, increasing power output, and offering better emissions control, while also automatically adapting to driving conditions instantly. The advent of EFI marked the end of the carburetor era, opening a new chapter for the automotive industry. Non-powered steering. For early automobiles and many economy cars up until the 1970s, non-powered steering was the standard. To turn the wheel, drivers had to rely entirely on their own physical strength. While mechanically simple and reliable, offering a more direct connection between the driver and the road, it demanded significant effort, especially at low speeds or when maneuvering larger vehicles. This lack of power steering could make parking or turning a real challenge, particularly for women and those with less physical strength. For this very reason, power steering, initially hydraulic and later electric, emerged in the mid-20th century and quickly became a revolution. It drastically reduced the force required to steer, making vehicle control much lighter, more comfortable, and significantly easier even in tight spaces. Today, power steering is a basic feature we often take for granted, but it was once a groundbreaking innovation that made driving accessible to millions more. Tail fins. When looking at American cars of the 1950s and early 1960s, the first thing you might notice are the majestic tail fins, soaring high at the rear. Inspired by the aerodynamic design of World War II's P-38 Lightning fighter jet, these fins were created to give cars a futuristic, powerful, and charismatic appearance, reflecting the advancement and modernity of the American automotive industry at the time. Back then, the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado, with its towering tail fins integrating taillights, was not just a car, but a mobile work of art, drawing every eye on the street. However, despite their impressive beauty, the practical benefits of tail fins were minimal, primarily serving as an aesthetic element. They significantly increased vehicle production costs and posed considerable safety risks with their sharp edges. Furthermore, these large fins obstructed the driver's rear visibility, making reversing difficult. By the mid-1960s, as automotive design trends shifted towards more practical, streamlined, and efficiency-focused styles, the flamboyant tail fins were gradually phased out, becoming a memorable relic of a period rich in creativity and audacity in American car design history. Do you feel regretful when the special tail fins disappear? Comment yes if yes, no if no, to see if anyone is like you. Hood ornaments. From the 1920s to the 1930s, when a car glided by, the first thing that caught the eye was the proudly mounted hood ornament. These decorative details were not only unique brand identifiers for each automaker, like Rolls-Royce's Spirit of Ecstasy or Mercedes-Benz's three-pointed star, but also clear symbols of luxury, class, and sophistication. Initially, they also served as radiator caps, being both practical and beautiful. The image of the Mercedes star on the hood was once jokingly called crosshairs for senior citizens, because in the 80s and 90s, only older individuals could afford a Mercedes after years of saving. However, over time, these ornaments gradually revealed many limitations. Their rigid structure posed significant danger to pedestrians and accidents, easily causing injury. Furthermore, they were attractive targets for thieves or easily snapped off by children, incurring costly replacements and no longer fit as car designs transitioned to more aerodynamic, streamlined shapes for optimal performance. Today, hood ornaments rarely appear on mainstream models, mostly seen on classic cars or as retractable features on luxury models, such as Rolls-Royce and Bentley, still retain to preserve their classic beauty and prevent theft. Floor dimmer switch. Before advanced headlight control technology appeared on the steering wheel, cars from the 1920s to the 1950s were often equipped with a floor-mounted dimmer switch located right on the floor near the brake pedal. This was a simple yet highly effective invention at the time, allowing drivers to switch between high and low beams with just a tap of their foot, allowing their hands to remain firmly on the steering wheel, enhancing driving safety. However, Its location on the floor was also the reason for its demise. This switch quickly wore out due to constant contact with footwear and was susceptible to dirt and moisture in wet or muddy conditions, leading to reduced performance and frequent maintenance. It was eventually replaced by column-mounted switches, a more reliable solution that allowed for much more advanced and convenient headlight control. Vinyl roofs. In the 1960s and 1970s, vinyl roofs became a fashionable feature, a symbol of luxury and class, without the prohibitive cost of a genuine convertible. Made from polyvinyl chloride, these roofs were designed to resemble a folded soft top, lending a sophisticated and expensive look to popular models like the Ford Thunderbird and Cadillac Eldorado. They were an excellent option to elevate a car's style at an affordable price. However, vinyl material was prone to cracking, fading, and peeling, especially when exposed to harsh weather, from scorching sun to torrential rain. Worse still, moisture and rainwater often got trapped underneath the vinyl layer, creating ideal conditions for rust to develop, causing severe damage to the roof's metal structure. These durability and maintenance issues caused vinyl roofs to gradually lose their appeal. By the 1980s, they fell out of favor, making way for more durable, lower maintenance options and significant advancements in paint and clear coat technology. Nevertheless, vinyl roofs remain an undeniable part of automotive design history, a distinctive hallmark of a stylish era. Did you ever own a car with a vinyl roof? Share your memories of it. 8-track tapes. In the mid-1960s, when you wanted to take your favorite music on the road, 8-track tapes were the top choice. Developed by Bill Lear with support from Ford and RCA, this magnetic tape format was designed for continuous playback, providing an easy and portable music listening experience in cars, quickly becoming popular in the late 1960s and throughout the 1970s in the U.S. They were a huge leap forward compared to in-car record players due to their durability and convenience. However, 8-track tapes also had inherent drawbacks. Tapes frequently jammed inside the player, frustrating listeners. Their sound quality could also degrade over time, and switching between tracks produced a distinct clicking sound, interrupting the flow of music. The arrival of more compact cassette tapes offered better sound quality and superior portability, easily carried with you. Then, CDs, with their digital sound quality and absolute convenience, completely replaced 8-track tapes, turning them into a symbol of a bygone era, a testament to the continuous evolution of in-car entertainment technology. Woodies Cars. Wagon cars with real wood paneling were a very distinctive image of the American automotive industry, from the 1930s to the early 1950s. During the Great Depression, wood was a cheaper and more accessible material than metal, so automakers capitalized on it to produce these unique vehicles. Woodies were favored for their distinctive appearance, a strong artisanal feel, and spacious interiors, making them ideal for large families or outdoor excursions. They were a symbol of rustic luxury and a lifestyle connected to nature, but this natural beauty came with enormous maintenance costs. The wood panels required constant care to prevent rot, weather damage, and insect infestation. You had to regularly paint, repair, and polish them to preserve their appearance. Furthermore, compared to all metal car bodies, Woodies were significantly less safe in collisions. As steel became more affordable, durable, and safer, all steel car bodies replaced wood. By the 1990s, this style was almost completely phased out, leaving behind only decorative faux wood paneling. Manual wind-up windows. Manual wind-up windows were a standard feature on almost every car until the 1990s. To raise or lower the window glass, the driver or passenger had to use a hand crank to adjust. This design was mechanically extremely simple and reliable, less prone to breakdowns compared to early power window systems, which often malfunctioned. Despite their reliability, manual windows also had clear drawbacks. They required significant effort to adjust, especially when needing to roll up or down multiple windows at once or when a window was stuck. Furthermore, the inability to control all windows from the driver's seat was also a convenience limitation. With the development of power windows, allowing adjustment with a button, and integrating advanced safety features like automatic reversal upon detecting an obstruction, manual wind-up windows were gradually phased out. Today, they are rarely seen on new cars, remaining only as a nostalgic memory of an era when technology hadn't fully bloomed, yet leaving its mark for simplicity and durability. Our channel is still new. If you find it meaningful, please click like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so that we can meet for a long time. Rear-wheel drive. With the engine positioned at the front and power transmitted to the rear wheels, rear-wheel drive, RWD, offered balanced weight distribution, predictable handling, and superior durability, making it ideal for high performance and heavy-duty applications. It was once the standard for most passenger cars throughout the early and mid-20th century. From classic sedans to American muscle cars and European luxury vehicles, RWD was the preferred choice, offering an authentic driving feel and excellent control. But from the 1980s onwards, front-wheel drive, FWD, gradually dominated the market due to numerous superior advantages. FWD provided better traction in slippery conditions like rain or snow, significantly improved fuel efficiency due to reduced weight and a shorter drivetrain, and increased interior space as no drive shaft was needed for the rear wheels. FWD cars were also generally cheaper to produce. Nevertheless, RWD did not disappear entirely. It remains the preferred choice for sports cars, high-performance sedans, and trucks due to its superior handling dynamics, strong towing capability, and high power handling. While no longer the standard on every car, RWD still asserts its value in specific segments, a testament to the diversity and continuous evolution of automotive engineering. Metal dashboards. Do you remember the dashboards of cars from the 1920s to the 1960s? Early automobiles, especially from the 1920s to the 1960s, often featured bare metal dashboards. Made from solid steel, often painted or accented with wood grain and chrome trim for emphasis, they were built for high durability and a robust, classic style. But this rigid appearance hid a serious danger. In collisions, the unforgiving structure of metal dashboards could cause severe injuries to drivers and passengers due to direct impact. Without padding or energy-absorbing materials, they became an unforgivingly hard surface. For this safety reason, in the late 1950s and early 1960s, the automotive industry began transitioning to padded dashboards. These new dashboards use softer materials like vinyl, plastic, and foam to absorb impact forces, helping to reduce the risk of injury. By the 1970s, metal dashboards had largely disappeared from new car models, making way for safer, more comfortable designs. T-tops. T-tops, also known as T-bar roofs, were an incredibly unique and popular car design feature in the 1970s and 1980s. They consisted of two removable roof panels, with a central crossbar forming a T-shape, connecting from the windshield to the rear of the car. The purpose of T-tops was to offer the open-air feel of a convertible, while retaining the structural rigidity and strength of a traditional hardtop. Cars like the Chevrolet Corvette and Pontiac Firebird became famous for this distinctive T-top design. However, the T-top experience wasn't always perfect. The most common issue was their tendency to leak, causing water damage and rust inside the car. Removing and storing the roof panels was also quite inconvenient, requiring space and careful handling. Furthermore, the central bar still limited the full convertible experience, not offering the same sense of freedom as a true convertible. For these reasons, T-tops gradually gave way to more reliable and convenient options, like conventional sunroofs and panoramic sunroofs, offering flexibility without the associated hassles. Crank start engines. Before cars could start with just a turn of a key or a push of a button, getting an automobile running was a task requiring significant strength and skill. That was the era of crank start engines, the original method of bringing an engine to life. This process involved inserting a hand crank into the front of the engine and manually turning it to generate the necessary momentum. It's a very familiar sight in classic films, showcasing the raw yet powerful nature of early technology. However, this method posed serious safety risks. The crank could suddenly kick back if the engine backfired or kicked against rotation, causing horrific injuries like broken wrists or arms. Furthermore, it required physical strength and was quite difficult to operate for some drivers, especially women and older individuals who might not have had the power to turn the crank. Fortunately, the advent of the electric starter, pioneered by Cadillac in 1912, completely transformed the landscape. By the 1920s, most automakers had adopted this technology, completely eliminating the need for manual cranking and significantly improved vehicle safety and accessibility. Crank start engines have become a legacy of the past, a testament to the resilience and strength of pioneering drivers. Curb feelers. These were slender metal wires or springs attached to the lower part of the car's body, near the wheels. Their purpose was to alert drivers when the car was too close to the curb by creating a scraping sound, helping to prevent damage to tires and hubcaps. However, this convenience also brought considerable annoyance. Curb feelers could be quite noisy and sometimes produced embarrassing sounds when you unintentionally scraped the curb. They were also prone to damage and breakage, especially when driving over rough roads or high curbs. With advancements in automotive technology, they gave way to more modern solutions. Today, we have parking sensors, backup cameras, and automatic parking assistance systems, which provide much more accurate and reliable support. These were the American automotive innovations that once defined a glorious era. While many features have now faded into the past, they weren't failures at all. They served us for decades, bringing countless memories and conveniences. They are a testament to innovation and cherished beautiful memories. What do you remember most distinctly about the cars of yesteryear? Share your memories in the comments so we can reminisce together and preserve these timeless values. Don't forget to like and subscribe to No Longer Here so you don't miss our next nostalgic journeys. Thank you for joining us.